crazy close yesterday. So yesterday was a pretty normal day until the afternoon, really. We took out the prior 2 days resistance area, which had been at 269 here and here. Right on the open, we got above it. We held it. We went up to 272. The area I've been targeting to get flat and flip short. That had just been the consolidation before this collapse on Monday. We got up there. We're looking at the 30-minute right now, so it took a while for us to get back down below 270. But once we did, we came off pretty hard. So let's take a look at it. And then there was a lot of trading opportunity, pretty much from I started watching right around here. Had noticed we failed at 272. We were holding lower. We were consolidating just above 270. And there was a quick spike down, spike up, and then we came off pretty hard to 268.5. We came back right up to where it started from. We went right back down again. We did this up and down for a while before making a run up to 270.50 or so. And then this happened. So this was into the close. And then it just continued after the close. Last night, and I checked at home, we were at 264.5. And really, after having spending most of the day between 268 and 270, really. So this morning we're back up to 268, I think. Yeah. So I'm net flat. I got long stock via my options that were put to me that expired yesterday, and I hedged that off with a short this morning. And so I'm flat. I'm gonna start fresh trading. And the way that I'm looking at it is yesterday afternoon support area. We'll see if this starts to become resistance. And I thought 267 on Tuesday, the bounce day. I thought we needed to hold this. So I'm going to see if we can narrow a little bit. Maybe we'll, I don't know, God forbid, have a $2 range today. But certainly if we overshoot to the downside, quickly I'll look to fade into here. And if we overshoot to the upside, I would definitely be fading into here. Hopefully we narrow a little bit for a few days. Take a look at IWM, which I didn't even really look at yesterday. So IWM was really tight all day, between 150.60 and 149.50 until the after hours. I guess it came back down, 147.80. So, yeah, 150.60. We really need to keep an eye on that. And so you got there right on the open, got there late morning, midday, close. Just can't hold above there. See all these wicks. Wild price action at $1.20 range. So there's nothing to do here. We start to consolidate up here and break or something. We consolidate here and break or something. All right, Twitter. So Twitter, it's very easy to make the comparison to Snap, which we'll get to when we do second day plays. Not the same setup really. I mean, the one thing that I've been waiting for the last 2-3 years is for them to start beating numbers and raising guidance. And they did beat numbers pretty handily on the revenue side, even though North American revenue was down year over year. They just have done better internationally. But for a couple of years, we were buying it in the mid-teens. Remember that one time, the first time it was down here in after hours at 13, actually. It just kept on holding 14 for a couple of years. This was they were for sale. They might get taken over here. And then things started to get better the last quarter or so, and it got to the mid-20s. And so, it was up, I don't know, what is this, 70, 80% off the lows here. So with the good numbers, if it had gapped to 31.5, 32, I'd be like, okay, that seems pretty normal. It's now back up to, it's filled this gap from July of 2015. So I suppose people might be thinking you can get to here, the top of that consolidation range. But I'm going to look for some sort of failure above 34. Let's zoom in and take a look at it. I did short a little feeler at 34 just to keep an eye on it. So here was initial reaction to 31. It did get to 34 and then came off $2, so that was pretty good the first time it did fail there. Now it's holding up here. So it's starting to look like more like it could have a breakout above there. So that would be okay to play that. It's hard for me to envision it going up that much higher, but maybe it goes up to the high 34s, 35, something like that. But I'm prepared to play like this range right here, pre-market range. It's a pretty big pre-market range. Doesn't have a high short interest like Snap does. It has like 5% short interest. And early bird got the worm on this one, shorting it to 34. Quick $2 down move, retest, holds, right back up to 34. Now it seems to be holding 33.5. So we have 34 to 34.25 resistance. We have 33.5 support. If it drops there, then we'll look to see if this 33 level holds. And ultimately, if it doesn't, play for a move back down at pre-market support. The next one is Teva, TVA. They're on their earnings call right now. It did sell off all the way to 18. We played this in the low 20s recently on the short side. Went vertical, worked its way back up here. I think this is when we were looking at it. Came back into 20 support, it held. That's right, it got long here at 20. Worked its way up to 21.5 the next day. So it's been pretty wild. So it's 1875 right now. I guess a flush down to 18 or lower, I'd be curious. I mean, the real support is probably more like 1775 to 1740, but it did hold 18 in the pre-market, so I'd play for a move down there and then see what happens at that level. Being cautious, being short there. And then on the upside, above 19, it's basically 19.5 to 20 is what you're looking at there. Then IRBT, so this is down 20%. It's down $17. It normally only trades 1 million shares a day. On big gap down days, you can go back to October of 2017. It did 8 million shares. A couple other times it did between 6 and 8 million shares. It's going to do between 5 and 10 million shares today. So it should be more liquid, but it is gapping down pretty far. So you could have $2 to $3 fluctuations right on the open. So you got to be a little bit careful there. You can kind of see it had gapped up this day here to 82 and went straight down to 62. So that was pretty wild. It gapped higher and then dropped 20 points straight. Just to give you an idea, you don't want to get run over on this one. If it settles in, you get a consolidation, in the area like here, or in this area here, where you can risk $1 or less. It makes big moves. So I thought that, the guidance looked really bad to me. Let's go to the daily. It's tough. Like, this is obviously a growth and momentum stock. It went from $40 to 110. And then it kind of broke all these uptrends. It broke this one, consolidated at this one, broke to the downside, and got back above here. So now you're really just dealing with all this, basically this entire support area. Maybe it just stays between 65 and 80 for a while. Oh, and my point of growth momentum stocks is when they have to continue to raise guidance and raise EPS and raise revenue, and when they don't, those types of stocks get slammed, and you saw the beginning of that in some of those other down moves. But so it's not good. So looking at the pre-market, 69 held. Like if the pre-market low, if it holds below there, I'd be looking for 68 and then 65, 66. 72 failure on the open, it gets below. It's worth probably giving it a shot on the short side, pretty small. Probably a better short would be more like in the 74 to 76 from a risk reward standpoint. Let's go to Snap. So Snap, I saw I was wrong at 18 when it just plowed through there. And I should have flipped it to long. I didn't really try to trade on the long side until the afternoon. But I mean, it plowed right through that 18 on the open, and then it consolidated like at 18 and a half, and then took out the 19 level. I was watching it when the market was kind of tanking here into 19, and I was actually bidding right below 19 to buy it for a move through 20, but I didn't get it. And so then when I finally traded on the long side, it was here to 2020, gave it 2 shots, once here and then once here. And it popped back up to the 60, 70, sold a little bit. And then it had this spike right at the end where I got stopped out. Gapping higher this morning, not that surprised, but it's already come off at 80 cents. But certainly, into 21 here, into 2075, I'd look to see if it supports again. Let's look at the kind of the uptrend from this. This area here, you find a bid somewhere, 2075 maybe overshoots it a little bit. Then I play for a move back up to 22, see if it double tops, something like that. Cores worked really well for us yesterday. Actually, a few things worked well in the open. Cores worked really well. Obviously, we talked about the idea that it had been up a bunch. It's up 40%, could get some profit taken from the 70 area. I didn't get a chance to establish a short in the pre-market, but did buy it into yesterday's range. So I've bought some here, bought some here. Average was around 65 and a half, and just scaled out of it into 68. Didn't notice that it double topped here and trended right back down to 66, but I'll do the same thing again today. Buy it into, perfectly happy to buy it into this trading range here. Or move back up to 67, 68. And then win. This one was really close to, I think, what we talked about. The news was good. It just got a little bit overdone in the pre-market. They took profits. We had 74 and 72. It dropped out on the open, got long, and just scaled out of it into 78 and a half. It did fail at 80, which is the level we talked about on the open, in the pre-market meeting. And came back and supported again a couple of times at 75. So I just made this one trade from here to here, but certainly buying it into the 75 right here a couple of times worked for a couple of dollars. Today, same thing as I said yesterday. I think it has more upside based on where LVS is trading. It's pretty good. I mean, in terms of, just looks like a flag really. So I would say, buying it into right here, or a consolidation above 78, and then it takes out this resistance. I'd be playing it to like 84, 85. And then Tesla, I just feel like it's gotten harder and harder to trade. So, if you're like an options swing trade it, it makes a lot of sense where you can risk like $5 to make $15, $20. The fade worked, I guess, in the 350s yesterday. It did come off $10 before going right back up to 354. So it looks like to me, 352 to 354 is going to be resistance. And then you can just see how crazy the price action is just looking at the 30-minute here. It's actually 5-minute. Let's do 30-minute. $337 to 3. This area here looks interesting to me on the long side. And I guess if it started to consolidate above 344, 345, then I'd be interested again on the long side. You can see, I guess, it was smart for people, I guess, to fade in the after hours here. This is kind of where the down move started a few days ago. I don't see why. I just, based on what I saw in the numbers and everything, the headlines, I would doubt the psychology would take it all the way back down here again. So if you did see it down in the 337 to 340 area here, that would be a spot where to put on a small position to try to see if it holds this end of the day support. And you get a close, sell some up here, and then see what happens over the next few days. Yeah, so Weight Watchers had a huge breakout yesterday. After it popped up, had that first 10-point move, I did short it and then got stopped out, I think, right here. It closed strong. So you have to go all the way back a few years ago to see where it is. So it's kind of working its way back up to like the 70, it looks like 78 to 80. I don't follow the fundamentals closely enough to know whether or not this is in any way justified. I think it probably has a huge short interest. I mean, they definitely were accumulating it yesterday at 73 and 72.65. So it might be interesting there. Also might be interesting at the 74 level if it held. I probably am just, I mean, I'm looking for it actually to top out and then have a 10 to 20% down move. So the way I'm looking at it is 76. I'll look to see if it spikes a couple points above there. And if it got back down below 76, that would catch my attention. Yeah, 30% short. So yeah, at some point, wherever it tops out from, I think it'll come down 15, 20% over the course of 2 or 3 days. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. As always, be patient and good luck.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play? What levels in those stocks are important? And how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.